Welcome to the future.
Voice is clown.
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You unlock this door with the...
What up, YouTube, and welcome to not a live episode of a review for Two Fat Guys Pull List. It would have been it is episode 193, I believe. It's just not live. We're doing a pre-record because I'm about to go on vacation. So anyway, it's a short week anyway, so we'll talk about the books that we picked up this week, which I think we only have 4.
Yeah.
But before we hit that, let's talk about our show sponsor. First, we got to talk about Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. That's right. That's the show sponsor. That's where Nate and I get our books, where we get our back issues, our trades, our omnibus, our slabs, our manga, our Magic the Gathering cards, our trading cards, our D&D, our models, our action figures, our posters, our cookbooks, our plushies, all of them good things. We go to Collected Comics and Games. They have 2 locations, one in Keller and one in Fort Worth. They also have a great website called staycollected.com. So if you're looking for any of those cool things and you're not in the DFW area, you can check them out right there. Also, we got to talk about our milestone giveaway. That's right. When we hit 1,250 subscribers, we're giving away a slab, and we're giving away this bad boy. This X-Men, Uncanny X-Men issue number 1 from 2019, 9.8 CGC grade, signed by Jim Chung, the cover artist. So if you are not already subbed, make sure to subscribe because we do give away slabs to our subscribers. Also, when we hit 2,000 subs, we're giving away this Donny Cates Thor number 1 Nick Klein sketch variant signed by the great Donny Cates at a 9.8 CGC grade. So it benefits you. It behooves you to subscribe to Two Fat Guys Pull List. All right. So we're talking about October 3rd. No,
30th.
When did we get these books? We got them on the 30th? That's right. We did. October 30th, that pull. I know it's November already, but we're talking about those pulls. And again, it was an itty bitty week, and we didn't have any independents. So there's that. But we're kicking the show off with a DC Vertigo book, and that is Nice House by the Sea, issue number 4 from James.
I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
James Tynan. Here we go. But before we jump into the book, will you show the audience your shirt real quick? What
My
you're
shirt?
wearing? Yeah, what shirt are you wearing?
I'm wearing the Pine House.
Oh, you changed? Damn it.
Yeah, dude. No, I won't. That was earlier.
I was trying to... Yeah, well, one day I figured people would go wear the same shirt. Whatever.
Anyway, Nice House by the Sea, issue number 4. This is my pick of the week. Of the week. So I guess it's Nate's pick of the week, so let's go ahead and hit the button. It's playing through the freaking... my audio, so oh well, but it's our pick of the week.
I can never hear it.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to play through the desktop, but it didn't. But anyway, it's our pick of the week. This Nice House by the Sea transition into the second volume of storytelling has been a little bit confusing, but it's very clear that Tiny Onion has been dropping breadcrumbs, right? He's been setting up this bigger picture. Walter died in the previous volume. He's back as a dog. We don't know if that's intentional and if he's trying to be a little bit more secretive. It kind of feels like that after this issue.
Yep.
But what we've learned so far in 4 issues is that there are actually 2 houses. One house that has Walter's characters, which we're much more connected to. And then we have another house by the sea from another alien. I believe, what's the name of the other alien? Max.
Yep.
Who has cultivated a group of humans quite similar to what we have over at Walter's, but it does, in this issue, we come to find that the people in the Nice House by the Sea are a little bit more cutthroat.
Yeah.
A little bit more cutthroat, and they see the writing on the wall, and I think they see the writing on the wall much quicker than the people by the lake. Which is
just
go ahead.
Was it just me, or did it seem like the houses, besides Oliver, the houses were also divided between like people, the lake people are people he knew earlier in his life, and then the sea people were people he knew later in his life? Or was that
Maybe,
just me?
but Oliver knew him fairly
Right, that's what I'm saying,
young.
with the exception of Oliver.
Exception of
Oliver's
Oliver,
like,
yeah.
is like,
It's
well, and it almost seems like, I mean, because Walter clearly didn't know that he was there. So
I don't know if Walter knew a majority of the people in the house by the sea. I think it's
Okay.
only Oliver.
Okay.
It feels like Max. It's very clear after you read this issue that Max took Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we see that in the college dorm room footage where he loses his shit and turns into full blown alien mode.
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing is Max took Oliver because they knew that Walter wanted him in his little laboratory or planetarium, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And so now I think what we're seeing now is that Walter put together his house of people who he enjoyed and loved, but their sole mission is to get Oliver out of the house by the sea, so that whenever push comes to shove and either house gets picked, Oliver's in the right one. I think that's where we're going with it. And if you're not reading this book, everything we just said is gibberish. It's just complete gibberish. But
Yeah.
I just think the storytelling to this point has, this really tied everything together, in my opinion. And again, the artwork is just so goddamn solid.
Mhm.
I don't know. I really enjoyed the book, and I'm not gonna lie to you and say like, oh man, like every issue it's just been on point and like I've completely understood it. No, I've been very like misty eyed, or not misty eyed. I've been very foggy.
Foggy. Yeah.
With each issue, but issue 3 there was some kind of clarity,
Mhm.
and then with this one it's like, oh my god, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more issues we have left, but like it's finally
it's 12
feels like
total.
the pieces are finally fitting into place.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't know what we're talking about, and this does sound like gibberish, uh, we're really talking about the underlying plot that's in the background. However, what the basis of the story and what really makes up the meat of what we're reading here is the history of relationships and the way that Tynan writes dialogue and relationships and just building characters is
Right.
what really makes this book shine, or gives it its substance. And then what really puts it over the top is this badass plot that's going in the background, and
Right.
the way that he kind of uses us telling these histories to unlock more like aha moments, or like oh shit moments with the plot. So
And I think the other reason why this book was my pick of the week is because it had, I'd say, at least 2, if not 3 oh shit moments.
yeah.
Like it was just, I mean, the flashback to the college dorm where Walter's trying to get Oliver and realizes that he's left, or that he's been taken, and he just
Mhm.
goes ape shit. The inhabitants of the nice house by the sea literally torturing Oliver because he knows about the other house, and them taking away his bones and his legs, and literally taking away his
Crazy.
mouth. Like, dude, it was fucking. I was in bed and I was like, oh shit, this
Yeah.
is not. Oh my god, And then just the realization that the comedian had, which was, it looks like our mission really truly is to extract Oliver from this house, and that's probably why we're gonna die.
Yeah.
And like every issue, we get someone telling their side of the story outside in the hellscape, so we know that the experiment goes wrong.
Mhm.
We just don't know how. And so I think we're just inching closer and closer to that.
Yeah. It's been great. And by the way, this is the first issue with the Vertigo logo. I'm so excited about Vertigo.
I do. I like it.
About that a lot, but
Yeah.
I'm just excited that they're bringing that back. And this is a
For sure.
perfect book for that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's jump over to Marvel with NYX issue number 4. this, I mean, I am enjoying this run. I haven't had to catch up like you, where you've had to read multiple issues in one sitting. So I completely understand why you basically forwent this issue. It's a lot to take in. But I think the gist of this issue, in my opinion, was, the mutants are really at not an interesting crossroads, but a crossroads that they've been at before, and they need to figure out how they're going to navigate it in a different way, right? Which is that they're fighting each other. There are multiple sects of mutants who have decided to do their own thing, whether it's in the name of Krakoa or masquerading as a nation state of Krakoa, or they're just doing things for themselves. And I think we have a little bit of both in this book, right? We've got this group of mutants. I can't remember all of them that are in it, but the Cuckoo Sisters are probably like at the center of the manipulation telekinetic wise.
Yeah.
And the betrayal of Kamala and her already knowing that one of the cuckoo, like the Cuckoo Sister that's with her, I think it's Sophie or Sophia.
Yeah.
She knew all along that she was a bait and switch, like, piece in a game.
Kamala knew that?
Yes. So when she's trying to find the Krakoan, she basically calls her out as they get closer to him, saying, I know that you were a pawn and getting me to get here to fight the Krakoan, and you don't have to do what you're going to do. And even if you do it, I still believe we're friends. And so, like, there's a lot of turmoil going on there.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so, Prodigy ends up reluctantly being the good guy and taking the hit, and their fight is publicized and he ends up getting arrested. But I don't know, I'm digging this run. I think it's definitely different compared to some of the other X books, but I think it's doing some fun things. And I almost would say unexpected, right? Because you're dealing with a group that isn't necessarily working together, but they are in each other's lives. Yeah. And we're just waiting for that one moment where they all do the superhero pose together and they're like, we're the NYX. Like, it feels like it's coming. But this internal fighting with Sophia and her sisters, I think, is going to be very interesting in the next issue. And I like that the Krakoan really wasn't, for marketing purposes. Yes, when they first announced the character, we all kind of rolled our eyes going like, we just finished the Krakoa arc. And it's really quite literally just a trope that, they're leaning into to make mutants look evil.
Yeah.
I liked it. I know was it wordy at times? 100%. Like, Prodigy and his inner dialogue is a little thicker than I would like in the book, but I think in that you get a sense of his reluctancy to actually do anything about these rogue mutants, and by the end, like, his heart's too big. He's got to help Kamala out, so it's gonna happen. But overall, I'm still digging the run. It's not anywhere close to being dropped. I think if the art changes, then I might put in more consideration to it. But as for storytelling and pacing, I'm okay with it. It's doing its job.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just, for whatever reason, had a little bit of like a block on this one, but especially with a shorter week, I've got some extra time. I'll probably revisit this.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's not a typical X-Men book. It's got aspects of slice of life, but each issue has definitely been a character dive in each. So it was Kamala, then it was Laura Kinney, then it was, I don't remember who the third person was, but then it's Prodigy here.
Annul, right?
Oh yeah. That one was probably the weakest, I think, because you were like, it just kind of felt like a one shot rather than a connective story. Like, we had little bits of this rogue group, but yeah, that one kind of felt a little less, I don't know, significant in my opinion. But 4 definitely caught back up on the storyline for sure.
Well, if the art is something that you might want to see a difference on, don't worry. The next 4 issues have 4 different artists.
Yay!
So you get lots to choose from here.
So much fun. All right, well, let's keep moving then. All right, next up we have Ultimate X-Men issue number 8 from Peach Momoko. I am a avid defender of this book, even if I'm not asked to, I still defend it.
Yeah.
I think the thing I like the most about this book is that this new group of mutants that are basically our X-Men, it's a squad of girls, and I love that. And I don't know what your thoughts are. I mean, we don't have really much to go off of in the sense of like not character development, but just like personality. But we get our Cyclops in this book, and I loved the reveal of our Cyclops in this book, which is like a one-eyed, like literally a one-eyed Cyclops. Like, sure, the one eye that she has patched up has the laser eye, and I'm like, that's so fucking clever.
Yep.
And I like the twist on the Children of the Atom cult rather than it being the school. Like, it's kind of the bad guy. I like that. I really do like that. I just think, I say it every time, I applaud Marvel and whoever, I'm not going to say editorial. I applaud Marvel for letting Peach really do whatever the fuck she wants in this run. It's so good.
Yeah, this issue was great. I think one of the things that's, it feels like the past 2 or 3 issues have been, it's all been good, but they've been like really good. And I think it's because for the first 5 issues, we had it was a slow build up. Peach was like, listen, you're going to feel my world, and we're going to just trust me. Like, we're going to get there, but you're really going to feel the ins and outs of my world.
Right.
And I feel like, especially with this issue, now it's like really starting to come to a crescendo that I'm enjoying. My only thing, and this isn't a negative of the book at all, but this screams to me like 12 issues, and then we're done with this volume of Ultimate X-Men, and then we're going to go to a new volume with a new creator to have, because this is like a really pinpoint example of some mutants, right? And this doesn't really have overarching implications, except we did see Viper this issue, and so maybe that is how we start connecting to the larger world. It seems like Marvel is giving all the creative teams like a year, like 12 issues, to just sort of play in their own sandbox. But I am curious and a little bit worried about how editorial is going to force this to sit in the larger scheme of things.
Right.
But so far they've done an amazing job letting her do her thing. So.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But I could see Marvel being like, okay, now we're gonna do the actual Ultimate X-Men, which would be such a damn shame. I know that's a guess, or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word is, but an assumption. I know that's an assumption, but I pray to God that's not true.
Yeah, like we're just gonna pretend like it's not, and we're gonna keep enjoying the hell out of this.
Just keep going. Yep. All right, our last book of the night, a Marvel Red Band explicit content version of Wolverine Revenge. I don't know if it's Revenge Wolverine. I think it's Wolverine Revenge. And we get some revenge. We got revenge in issue 3, but it was just one character, Sabretooth, and now Logan goes after the rest of the squad. He goes after Omega Red, he goes after Deadpool, and he goes after Colossus, and they're all brutally murdered. That's basically this issue in a nutshell. Omega Red gets hung in a tree by his own vampire tentacles, whatever the fuck you want to call those things.
Right.
Logan and Wade have is redemption even possible for people like us kind of discussion on the top of nuclear reactor, the big stacks, and throughout their entire conversation, they're both deteriorating and regenerating at the same time. And then at one point, Logan is somehow able to convince Wade that he's going to recruit him on his revenge campaign. And then when it's ready to go, Logan's like, nah, not really. And just pushes him into the reactor to let him degenerate and regenerate over and over again. It was pretty brutal. It was gross too. And then he fights with Colossus. And we don't necessarily get an explanation as to why these certain mutants deceived and betrayed Wolverine and Captain America and who was it? I don't remember who the other person was that they ended up killing. We don't really get that much of an explanation of it outside of Colossus was fighting for his own homeland, and the power source that was keeping the lights on was there, so he took advantage of it. Yeah. And Logan reminded him like they were family, and he took it. Like Colossus took it. He got the claws inside to the brain, into the dome, and then he got cut in half. And it was brutal. It was the red band I think is definitely worth it, especially if you're of age to read it. I liked it. Again, this is purely a what if story. Yeah. I think for me personally, and I said this on New Comic Book Day, like I think the book would benefit even more if it said what if on the book. I think that carries some weight in my opinion. Because this is clearly not an in-canon story. Yeah. And who knows, maybe Hickman comes out and says like, no, this is legit. Like this is legit in-canon story. I'm like, well, where does it fit?
No, I don't think that would happen.
I mean, Captain America is literally a sack of potatoes. Like he got blown to smithereens. So like I don't know. But anyway, I still enjoyed it. I think it's a fun book. But I just think it would benefit greatly if it had the what if badge on here. Yeah. I think Marvel would I know that we started kind of jumping into what if books. I know we're getting a what if series with Galactus, which will be really cool. Mm-hmm. But like I think we could do more. I
think they're afraid of that kind of logo. I think they're almost wanting to, I hate to say bait and switch, but they're just wanting you to go, well, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Like we don't need to label this what if. You just need to read the book and don't worry about if it's in continuity. And I think it would be cooler to have like a what if section, like collection, to like have like an Elseworlds thing.
I mean, they're already doing it on Disney Plus. I mean, they're going on season 3 of a what if. Like why why not lead into it?
It's true.
I don't know. That's kind of wild to me. All right, that's going to do it for this incredibly short episode 193 of review of comics. You can tell that my cadence is completely off when we don't do this live, but I appreciate every single one of y'all that are watching this as a premiere and or as a past episode. We will have a new Comic Book Day video for next week that will go out on Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will also have a new episode of Secret Origin going out on Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the morning with the true one, David Pepos, the writer of The Devil That Wears My Face, Space Ghost, and a ton of other books. Yeah. And some Marvel books and some Star Wars books. So be on the lookout for that because it was a really awesome conversation. Nate was able to join me this week, so we I was very nervous. Nah, you did great. It was a very fun fun interview.
Yeah, he's a very cool guy.
I cannot wait to get more people like David on the show. I think I've got a couple other people lined up for potential interviews, some other content creators, but I have sent out multiple letters and tweets and direct messages to representatives, to writers and artists to jump on, and hopefully we'll get some responses back this following week. Because I'm really digging Secret Origin. I think it's a fun little different take for the channel. Like reviews and new comic book videos are not going anywhere. I promise. Like we're not changing any direction of the show. We're just adding something else to the channel so that we can kind of reach more people and give you guys some more content outside of just New Comic Book Day. So and also like shout out to Blaine over at Comic Club Podcast. His interview was so much fun. He's a great guy, and hopefully we could have him on this show soon. Yeah. I think that'd be fun. But anyways, guys, we'll catch you, like I said, on New Comic Book Day on Tuesday, and then we'll be back again live for an incredibly massive week of comics next Sunday, because our pool is thick. It is super thick. But as always, comic fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. Later. Outro.
Goodbye.
Bye.